Okay, I think we are live. Good morning, good morning. Are we? Can you tell on your end? Meeting is now streaming live is my message. That's nice. I like that. Let's go into the, let us go to, we're on speaker view. Let's go to full screen. Okay, there we go. All right, Marquita. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this wonderfully cold and brutal Saturday morning? I I guess this is supposedly the calm before the storm. Are we really gonna get the snow this time? What you think?
I think it's gonna happen.
I'm excited. I don't know if you're a snow. Well, you may not be a snow lover coming from Michigan, but I can tell you
Uh,
what.
it's
Give
a
me my
negative.
one. Give me my one good snow a year. I want it. I'm glad it's happening on the weekend, so hopefully not many people are going to be out. So with that, I think about our essential employees like our grocery workers and folks like that do have to get out into this weather. But hopefully it won't be so terrible and they can get in and get out safely. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
I can't say I do not share the same sentiment being
No
from Michigan.
enthusiasm, no love for
None
the snow.
whatsoever. None whatsoever. The boys are excited about it, but not for me. Yeah, I
Live
could
there
do
on
without
that.
snow. I had enough for a lifetime.
So you coming back from where we going, huh?
Exactly.
Well, it's always hit or miss in our area. Honestly, I don't think it's been. I think it's been maybe 5 or 6 years since we had a decent snow. And truthfully, the jury is still out. I will believe it when I actually see it falling and actually sticking and accumulating. Now, of course, this is not a great time for us to have to deal with it because, both hubby and I had surgery. So we'll see. He did
Yeah.
say he was going to pull out the snow blower. So hopefully that will be sufficient and he can use that and not have to worry about lifting a shovel. Although Alan, he's gonna do it anyway.
I,
So
I would say I could send the boys with the shovel to make a couple dollars.
there you go. Oh, wait a minute, I got about how many kids in my house? I have 5 kids. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, and I'll share this with you. Jeremy and Christian used to rack up shoveling
Right.
snow. If they
Exactly.
got the snow gear, the pants, the everything, those guys can get out there and really hustle up and make some money because there are a lot of folks that don't want to get out there. Yours truly included. I just like to
Yes.
see it. I like to sit in the house with the fireplace and my hot tea or whatever and chill and watch it and look at them do all of that stuff. Now, I'm not going in it, but although I am showing houses tomorrow morning, so we'll see how that plays out. So,
All right, well, you be safe. And yeah, we'll just see how it all goes. They always predict stuff and then it'll be a whole miss, but I think they
yes.
might be spot on this time.
Kiki says she doesn't want snow. Okay, so you from Chicago, I'm upstate in New Jersey. I get
Exactly.
it.
Tell
I
her.
get it. But I want snow. I'm sorry. I mean, I know it's always 50-50 who likes it and who doesn't embrace it and who don't embrace it. I'm one who does. So I'm looking forward to it. Sorry,
So, what are
Kiki.
we
Just
talking about today?
so great question. So today we're talking about home buying process. So last week we had a request to talk about it. I have about 7 steps, but I'm not going to throw everything at everybody, the whole kitchen and everything at them at once. So let's talk about the top three home buying processes and what it takes. Well, first and foremost, Marquita, with you being on the line, I'm certainly going to say, even with this tight inventory and with you know, everything being what it is currently in our market, I will submit to you that it is still a phenomenal time to buy. With the interest rates. We, as you always say, there's always a caveat. But let's talk about what the steps are, the process leading up to home buying. And the first order of business, once I'm contacted or someone expresses an interest in purchasing, obviously this is where the consultation begins. So agent for the people, we do sit down and we have the consultation, whether it's virtually or in person. right now most things are virtual. And this is where we talk about what's important to that potential buyer and what their family's needs are. We sit down and we just kind of outline where what their interest is, what their goals are, and how many family members. What is it that they're looking for in their whether it's their first home or second home, and we kind of lay all of that out. We sit down and we discuss all of the things that what it takes to purchase, and what's the time frame. Do they have down payment money set aside, and understanding that we can't just walk up in there and all of a sudden say I want to go buy a house. Well, what does that entail? So really this is the time where we kind of get down to the nitty gritty and really dig deep and talk about the must haves and the wish list, and then we kind of pull that all together, and we kind of outline that, and then I send them to you or someone such as you if they're not currently working with their own lender, or have someone their banker, but nonetheless we send them over to you so that then you can consult with them and do your thing. So I'll turn that over. So step one obviously is certainly a fact finding mission. And also I must add, it's also an opportunity for us to interview one another to decide if we are in fact a great match. Because, just because I'm a realtor and you want to buy doesn't necessarily mean, we're kind of on the same page. I like to tell folks, just like you're interviewing your realtor, the realtor is interviewing you. So, to make sure that we certainly are in rapport, that um, that we can work together, because in the way I view it is it's a partnership. So working with your realtor, it truly is a partnership. We work together. And, just like when you meet up with, a friend, we're going to be spending a lot of time together. We're really going to be investing that time to get to know each other, and making sure that, again, my goal is to meet your expectation, in fact, exceed your expectation in the home buying process. But by the same token, I need to know that we are a good fit and that you also are coachable, because this is a coaching moment also with the relationship between the buyer and the realtor. And then, like I said, once we get through the whole fact finding process, we send them over to the Queen of Mortgages and you do your thing. Can you tell them a little bit about what that process entails?
Yep, absolutely. So unless you're paying cash, you're going to need some type of financing in the form of, a mortgage to purchase. There's three areas that we review. I call it CIA. So it's the credit, income, and assets.
Mm-hmm.
So credit, income, and assets, CIA. And we do turn into a little bit of the CIA as far as, digging deep and finding the details. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of information that has been put out to the public that you can push a button and get a mortgage. And it's just not true. Ironically, this morning I was in a Facebook group, or I saw a post from a Facebook group, and the realtor was asking how long does it take for someone to be pre-qualified or pre-approved. So it's really a play on words, but as far as pre-qualification, it really depends on the borrower and how
Mm-hmm.
quickly they are able to give information. At the baseline, to get pre-approved or pre-qualified, you have the 222. You need
Mm-hmm.
2 years of tax returns or W-2s, two pay stubs if you get paid twice a month, or at least 30 days worth of pay stubs if you get paid weekly, and then 2 months bank statements. So that is the baseline level. And then of course that lender is going to do a credit review. So I'm going to pull the credit, we're going to look at the income via pay stubs and tax returns, and we're going to look at the assets via 2 months bank statements. So just remember 222.
Two, two, two.
2 years tax returns or W-2s, two pay stubs if you're paid twice a month, 2 months bank statements with all pages. Yes, including the one that says left blank intentionally.
They need it. You need it
So,
all.
how quickly you get that information to the lender will determine how quickly you can turn that process around to receive a pre qualification or a pre approval letter. And I teeter between the words because a pre approval letter actually means that you have actually sent the loan to underwriting. In many cases, you don't need to do that, but it could be a leg up as far as being able to close quicker, which is something that we need in this
Mm-hmm.
market right now. So looking at those information, determining your actual buying power, and putting your scenario together for you. So when buying a house, everybody's an expert all of a sudden. When you
Of
stay home,
course.
everybody's situation is different. So just make sure again that you're consulting with a professional, and
Absolutely.
that even though it's cumbersome that you got to get this information together, it just makes more sense. If you want to save yourself some heartache on the back end or stress later on in the process, give the information up front. There's this one big company that does $3 million a day in advertising that literally sends out a letter that says all they've looked at is people's credit. I actually had someone fire me because I was like, I'm not sending a letter. Yes, I looked at your credit, but I need these documents too. And his stance was they didn't ask for that. And I'm like, okay, but you're going to save yourself some drama by providing this up front versus doing it on the back end. So we just weren't a good fit because, just as you mentioned, he just wasn't coachable.
Right. And that's very important, Marquita, because again, um, you have to be coachable because I mean, you're right. Everybody, it's I like to say it's like a nail salon. You see one in every shopping center. But just because, someone thinks maybe have sold a home or bought a home, that doesn't make them the expert. This is what you do. This is what I do. I mean, well, I've been doing this for over 18 years now. You've been doing it for equally as long. These we are vested. We're not just part-time folks and out here just, trying to sell a few houses. We really do understand the market, and we can certainly articulate that to our buyers and help coach them and make the process as easy as possible. But absolutely, someone like, if a good realtor will pick that letter apart, and I have advised my sellers, no, this is not the one for you, and we've sent that buyer on his merry way to go get the actual pre approval. And where the lender has certainly drilled down and received, got the 222s, has done the CIA investigative information, and can
Exactly.
provide the realtor with some substance to show that this person truly is loan worthy. And of course, that good realtor is going to pick up the telephone and contact the Queen of Mortgage to find out how far into this vetting process have you gone, how deep. And there are specific and certain questions that we do dig down because in representing the seller, I mean, and just even for the buyers, whether it's a seller or a buyer, nobody wants to get to the 11th hour only to find out that the loan is falling apart because either some other lender, I know not you because I know how thorough you are, but I have had folks come and in the 11th hour, things start to fall apart because the loan officer either didn't start processing it until, three-quarters of the way through the whole transaction. And that's a nightmare for both the seller and the buyer. People have given notices. People have planned their move. They've got movers coming and or may have even moved out and are prepared to purchase another home with with the proceeds from this house, and only to find it falls apart, and then that's a whole another nightmare in and of itself. So again, we like to get everything on the front end, starting with the consultation with me, your realtor, and then moving along to the financing, your Queen of Mortgage, to kind of again gather the information. So the first 2 to 3 steps truly is a fact finding process, and it's where it's fact finding, one, are we a good fit, and also gathering all the information and to find out at what point, or are you, one, ready, and if so, these are the things that need to be in place before step 3, we go house hunting. So those are the top 3 steps. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the show, there's 7 steps that I'd like to go over, and I'm not going to take this time. It'll probably take us almost an hour to do so, but certainly leave you with a little bit of something to come back for next Saturday when we'll talk about the remaining or the last 4 steps. So again, step 1 is consultation with your realtor. Step 2 is consultation with your financing, your Queen of Mortgage. And step 3 is now we go shopping. Once the Queen of Mortgage has said all systems clear, ready to go, and provide us with that pre-approval and everything is in order, then we can actually go and beat the pavement, hit the pavement running with your pre-approval letter in hand. And now we know exactly what's important to you. We've created the search. Now the realtor will go ahead and put the search together and start drilling down and strategically finding the right home for you, screening those things and sending them to you. And then we start communicating from there, and we get out there and we start shopping. So those are the top three as of the initial three steps in the home buying process. Is there anything else, Marquita, that you want to jump in and add?
No, I think you nailed it. I mean, at the end of the day, you said some things that really are key. That it is a partnership. It
Absolutely.
is a team sport as far as purchasing a home. If you're not paying cash and you need financing, so there's three prongs to that on your home financing team that you got to have. Really, is four, right? So you got your realtor, your lender, your title company, and then we also got to bring in, whoever's going to use for home insurance. But you just want to make sure that you have a strong team put
Yes,
together to help you through that process. And technically, there's a lot of moving parts in that actual buying process. So, like I said, you do the heavy lifting up front,
that's
right?
right. That's with
Some
anything, though.
things that are worth having sometime take some work, right?
Absolutely.
So so like I said, I just kind of despise that the public has been misled and hey, you can just push a button and it's just that easy. And I'm not saying that it's terribly hard. I mean, our goal is to help you make an informed decision. But how can you make an informed decision if the true information that's needed to approve a loan is not even reviewed? But here's a letter, right? It's just not
Absolutely.
worth the paper it's written on.
Absolutely. It's like when you go to the doctors or the hospital. I mean, certainly you're going to go through that triage process. They're going to drill down, find out what's bothering you. Where is the pain? What's going on? We want to know what kind of insurance you have. They want to know all of the details up front so that they can adequately assess you. And each buyer is different. And you're right.
Exactly.
You've got to have that information. Let's, like you said, I love it. Let's do the heavy lifting up front. Let's go through the whole pre-approval and fact finding, and let's set up a plan so that we can strategically get out there and certainly get you the right home at the right terms and the price and everything that's perfect for you and your family, even if it's your first home. And we'll talk about all of those things and all the steps that are required. I think we got a few comments out here, Marquita. Let's see. Hey, August. Good morning. Good morning, sis.
Yes.
Hope you're doing well. Mwah. Miss Amy Grant, passion is everything. And I'll tell you, I can speak for both of us. I believe that, yeah, we're very passionate about what we do. Obviously, we wouldn't have been doing it for this many years. We really do care about servicing our clients. I look at it as truly, I'm here. We're, again, it's a partnership and it's our opportunity to serve you. And my goal is always to exceed the expectation and make it as simple as possible. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be 100% no stress, but we like to eliminate as much of that as possible, both on the real estate side as well as on the financing side. So having that right team and that right fit, we can definitely get out there and help you accomplish your dream, your goal of home ownership. What do you say about that?
100.
All right, all right.
100.
Thank you everyone for who joined us. Kiki, Kiana, yes, I know you're from Chicago. I want to know. Give me one good one, okay? And Amy, thank you so much for your continued support weekly. We look forward to answering your questions. And we are going to wrap this up next week with the final steps to the home buying process. And then also want to jump in there. Well, we'll talk about it next week. But nonetheless, thanks again for joining us, Marquita. As always, I appreciate your expertise, your experience, your being here and support and helping provide and educate our viewers with some raw, relevant, and real information and what it takes to get the financing in whatever capacity you're working in. So until next Saturday, you guys stay safe, warm, wear your masks, and
Truly my
always
pleasure.
random act of kindness. Anything you else want to add, Marquita?
No, I say it's just truly my pleasure. Glad to share. Um, yeah, passionate about getting this done.
It does.
I feel like home ownership is part of legacy. So we don't do it for our first name, we do it for our last name. So
That's
that's
right.
all I
That's right.
got. Y'all be safe out there. I am going to make it to the grocery store today. I'm not in panic mode, but I'm going to make it to the grocery store
Well, I
today.
suggest you go or sooner rather than later because those that are in panic mode have probably already wiped off the shelves
Oh
again.
man,
I already called in
stop.
there. Look, I'm not gonna be home until this afternoon. Can you please? I want to make chili. I want chili.
Oh,
I'm
sounds
feeling some
good.
chili. That's what I mean. I'm with you. I'm not in panic mode, but I just want chili. And I know
Okay,
the kids like to put it on nachos, so
okay.
that'll at least last a day, maybe a day and a half. We'll see. Have a
Good
blessed
luck.
one. Stay safe. I'll see you when I see you, sis.
All right, see
Peace.
you. All right, bye bye.